Hi, I filmed this look and I'm about to go edit and post all of it here on my stories. But if you hear me reference like, oh, this is gonna be great with the look, let me show you what I'm talking about. It's a TikTok trend thing, but it's a cute one. I'm not gonna be dancing. But let me show you what I'm talking about. It's where you search my makeup type on TikTok, and then the first one that comes up, which would be this one, is the look that suits you. It just looked cute and I wanted to film a little TikTok about it. But that being said, I filmed the whole tutorial for here as well. So if you're like, what is she talking about? This is what I'm talking about. This is kind of our vibe. I just did my version. It's basically a smudgy, smoky eye, tons of bronzer on the forehead, and a nude lip. That's my favorite. So give me a little while, okay? And all of this is gonna go up, but I need to film a couple more things in here, and then we'll have the tutorial later, but it's certainly going up today. I have nothing on my agenda that's going to interfere with this look going on my story, but just give me about an hour or so. Just give me a second. All right. See you in a little while, but also pre-recorded. Oh, and I did it with back camera, so it's really, really sharp. All right, I'll see you in a little while. I want to be extra bronzy for this look, so I'm going to go ahead and start with this on my face, and I'm even going to do some here on my chest. I feel like this should be enough for my entire face. We'll see. And then I just want to smooth it out. Take from there. Grab our C41. It's going to be fluffy, so it's going to diffuse it nicely. I'll even put a little bit on my eyelids. I'm going to start with a darker eyeshadow base than usual. It's going to just give a lot of depth really, really quickly. And if I want to brighten it up a little bit, I can in a second with the shadow, but this is a really good way to just create depth almost instantly. And I'm using a tackier base today because I want to really enhance the shadows. Think of it, the wetter that base is, the more pigmented the shadows are going to show up. And I also feel like this is going to be the perfect palette for this look. Then I'm going to take concealer, liquid eyeshadow. This is Marais liquid eyeshadow in Sandstone. It's very close to my skin tone. That's really all we're going for. This was just really close to me. And that's going to kind of be my brow bone topper and do that final melt between the dark eyeshadow base and my brow bone. I'm actually going to start with the lighter color. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of pack that mostly in the center of my lid. What I like to do is just hold the brush kind of perpendicular like so. And then that just kind of hits that highest point of my eyeball. There's really no other fancy way to say it. And now look at how much dimension we have. We're still going to add some depth with the other shadows, but it kind of just gives a really nice guideline for the rest of the shape. Same E28. I'm going to take this side, and it's just on one side of the brush. That way I can just push it into my socket. I'm just going to push it all the way over. And then I'm going to hold the brush again like this and tap to transition. And I think that we're pretty much done with the eye look as soon as I get this all blended out. Now that I have the blend, I'm just going to take whatever's left here on the brush, and I'm just kind of creating this sweep. Now, the reason I'm not going back and forth is because that can tend to sometimes, not always, but sometimes it can overblend, and that's when it gets dull and we lose all of this really nice warmth. So by just tapping and bringing it out this way, it's going to give that a little bit more of a cat eye shape to the eye that I'm after. Okay, just a little bit more depth, just that shade on the tip of the brush. And then I'm just gonna press it here. Not going on this part because I want the wing to really stand out in a second. I want the wing to be a little bit more defined, so I'm gonna keep it off my lid and just keep it here. Now just this shade right here, I picked up quite a bit of it because I want to pack it on here just to really create a little bit more shape there. And just, you can actually do a little bit of cleanup if you have a shade a couple shades lighter than your skin tone. So you can just do a little bit of cleanup without having to go full cut crease. All of this, even under here, we're gonna have to trust the process. We're gonna move on to a wing. My favorite liner, really out of all of my entire collection, liquid, everything, is this gel liner right now. This one's from Jones Road. It is just so easy to work with. And this brush will be back in stock soon. This is the E26. And I just feel like since the brush has that right amount of flexibility, just enough for control, but then it also has enough to go over my lids that are not as tight as they once were. I just have a lot more luck with my wing these days if I use this combo. So now I went ahead and cleaned up the edge here with my micellar water, but I have a little bit of the bronzing drops here because I still think it's important to make sure that the skin is just extra nice and bronzed even here. We're still gonna put our concealer on, but a little bit of this is gonna mix in and it is going to darken it. So I wanna make sure it's nice and darkened everywhere. Ooh, Gene Bean's at the door, he wants out. And you know what, I'll take whatever's left here on my hand and just kind of melt it across here. Just a little bit. I'm telling you, it's a whisper. So I feel like this look is just extra bronze. So I'm actually gonna do a more pigmented bronzer. This one's more of an actual liquid bronzer. The other are drops. So it's more like a serum. It's not quite as pigmented, but I'm also gonna use a C43 for this because I'm gonna get the most pigment and I'm gonna keep it really concentrated. And we're doing underpainting before y'all run away. So there will be foundation on top of this, but it's just going to really add to the shape and really add to how bronzy and sculpted this look is. You might hear Ben talking. They're actually redoing the upstairs bathroom, but I still want to be here. I want to film this tutorial for y'all. Whoop, there's a phone ringing. That's not our phone, by the way. I'm gonna press these down. These are Lily Lashes, self-adhesive lashes. This is the style Game Changer. I think this is probably one of my favorite styles ever. But notice how I'm really clamping it on that skin. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer. It's not on the lash, it's on the skin. And then I kind of keep doing this because my body heat is going to help these adjust to my eye shape even more. So if they don't go on perfect at first, just let them warm up a little bit because this one's been on longer, so I just kind of keep wiggling. We can't have nice things today. I was saying I kind of just keep wiggling and then really shaping them to my eye shape. Okay, I think some of the hullabaloo is over for a little while. I'm gonna do one of my favorite foundations of all time. This is Cover FX Power Play, shade M3. And I'm just gonna take that. What I'm doing is I'm making sure it's even on my finger as I'm going to apply it because I'm gonna apply it around the bronzer. And I want it to be pretty flat on the skin to start with. I know the shade is gonna look so wild for a second. It's because of all of that contrast. But remember, the bronzing drops are going to mix in, and that's what we're after. And then just for backup, I'm going to keep a couple drops of the bronzing drops on the back of my hand, just in case I need to dip in and darken this. I might not have to, but it's there just in case. And no matter what, I'm not going to waste it because I can just go on my chest. Ooh, melty, melty. Just gonna let this run so y'all can see what's going on. Then we're gonna go on top of the bronzer. You know what? I think we need a little bit of the bronzing drops. Just gonna pick it up on the same brush. Oh, yeah. And then we're not gonna lose any coverage and it's just gonna be so seamless. Look at this match. Delightful. Now I'm gonna do concealer, but only underneath my eyes. I feel like I have enough coverage everywhere else. This is my Natasha Denona concealer, R5. I'm gonna grab our C32 and brighten up underneath here. So I want the blush to be very high and further back on the cheekbones. And I think this is gonna be the perfect color for this look because it has a little bit of peach, but it also kind of mimics bronzer, especially for my skin tone. And I'm actually gonna apply this with a C40, a little bit more of an angle, and it's just gonna hit exactly where I want the blush. More at an angle here. Ooh, that's nice. I'm gonna pick up more and just layer it up a little bit. This is gonna be a really fun tip. So remember how I talked about a wet base really enhancing everything? I'm gonna take a little bit of this eyeshadow on a puff because you're gonna get more pigment. It's gonna set everything all at once, but I really just wanted to enhance here and here. And then you're really gonna be able to work it into any kind of lines that might crease. Mine start here, so that's why I'm really kind of pressing that in. But look at how bright that is. I'm going to build it up just one more time. So much fun. So instead of setting with a puff, I'm actually going to grab a fluffy brush. It's going to be a more diffused application, but I want to set the perimeter, and the perimeter mostly has bronzer. So I'm going to do a little dip of that and a dip of the powder. One would have been enough, but I thought we'd do that while I'm yapping. And then I'm just going to go ahead and start to set. If I was to take a puff and just the powder, what could happen is all of this could turn gray. Everything that's so warm and toasty and really adding to this look could definitely turn gray. So it's going to be better to kind of mix your powder and a powder bronzer to set. I don't know if you've tried this 𝗕𝗲𝗂𝘂𝗫 eyeshadow formula, but it is really, really nice. It's really, really pigmented, and it's kind of hard to overblend it. So I really think that you'll like it. I used one the other day and now I'm kind of hooked, and I'm just kind of pressing this underneath my eye. And I'm holding the brush again like this, because if I hold it like this, it's gonna catch any kind of fallout. It's looking pretty sassy. So I'm gonna keep the lip liner pretty close to the color of the bronzer. And this is actually one of my favorite lip liners. And I like to do a rough draft. And what that means is I kind of just throw it on, and then I'll go add lipstick and then come back and perfect. I'm actually gonna go pretty pink, but once it's blended with the lip liner, I feel like this is gonna be headed exactly in the right direction. So I wanted it just a little bit more pale. This is one of my favorite pale lipsticks ever. If you're ever wanting a really pale lipstick, I'm done saying that word, by the way. I really think that adding this one to your collection might be a good idea. Not only, this one's a different formula. So this is the more matte formula, and the one I originally put on is the more, we'll just say dewy. I can't think of a better word. But the matte one dries down, and those last. They last. But now I'm just gonna kind of keep blending this out. And I like where we're at. Now I can't show you what I'm using, but I'm finishing with a reformulation of something we know and love. Ooh, that mister is good. I have to say, if I had to pick one makeup look to wear for the rest of my life, it would be this one. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. I love a bronzy look. I'm gonna keep y'all updated on what I just sprayed. It feels amazing. I'm really excited for that. All right, I will definitely save this to my highlights, and I love you with all of my heart. Have a wonderful, peaceful weekend, and we will see you on Feral Monday. Bye for now.